Hi, everyone. Welcome to our first time home buyer seminar. We haven't done this for a little while, but thank you for joining us. We still have the same title that we had 6 months ago. First time home buyer in a unique market.
But you know what's unique, Vinnie, is a lot of people are still homeless. They haven't been able to get a home.
Well, yeah, I mean the market is crazy. If you watch our market updates, you'll know that.
And when are
It's
those on?
every Monday and Friday at 4 o'clock. So
Ah, that's good. Thank you. Thank you. I
yeah,
appreciate that.
no problem, no problem at all. So why don't you take us from the start, David?
So you want to start with buying a home. What do you want to think about to get everything moving? Well, first you want to look at your current job and stability. And as of right now in the current market, a lot of you probably realize job stability is very interesting because you're probably working from home. Next, you want to look at your job. What sort of future growth do you have? What sort of opportunity to pay increases? Next, you want to look at your budget. Where do you spend your money? How do you spend your money? Are you saving monthly? Do you contribute to your 401k? Do you even have one? Did you start one? Do you have an emergency fund? What about this weird thing, Vinny? This is a weird one. It's called vacations. People travel to other locations and they go somewhere different, sometimes on a plane or a train or an automobile. But it's vacation. I know a lot of people haven't heard of those in the last year, but they do exist. So in the future, you need to consider taking vacations and planning for them when buying a home. Next, what about your down payment? Do you need a gift? Do you need down payment assistance? Does that still exist, Vinny?
That's it's be fairly hard, I think, to get some assistance from the seller. There are some programs out there that if you need assistance there, that could possibly work out, but trying to get credits from the seller can be very difficult in this current climate.
And finally, focus on your ideal monthly payment because if you're watching our show and you notice Vinny has one tagline, he always says focus on your
Monthly payment.
boom. Because guess what? Every month you got to make the payment.
Yeah. So focus on the monthly payment, and then when you want to finance your home, you got to pick the right lender. Okay, there's so many lenders out there. I think the biggest ways to look at it is that you have a broker and then someone that does in-house funding, right? Some brokers might fund it in-house too, but there's a brick and mortar banks like a Wells Fargo or a company like that. They might have direct guidelines that you have to fit into, while a broker can broker it out to a variety of different lenders to actually take on the loan and service the loan when it's all said and done. So it's figuring out who do you want to work with? Do you want someone with a little more flexibility, or do you want someone that's going to be, strictly by the numbers? You could always ask for a referral, ask an honest agent, right? Go to Yelp, Zillow, Google, Redfin. Look at any kind of platform that you can find to look up reviews for the loan officer. Also, too, the realtor that you're talking about, and we'll get that a little bit later, but look up their reviews too, and then read the reviews on the loan officer. Check their license number. Experience matters. Higher license numbers mean a rookie. Lower numbers means they've been with us a little bit longer.
Okay, now you got your lender. What's next? How do you secure the home loan? So this is very important because there's a lot of horror stories out there that you hear and you wonder, why did this happen? Why am I here? Well, if you do these things here, we're going to briefly go over, it will dramatically improve your experience as well as help you pick the right loan officer and have overall good outcome with a good agent and a good house. So doing a loan application, what does that mean? It means we're going to look at your job history for the last 2 years. A lot of things in lending revolves in twos. A lot of people think it's, lucky sevens, like 777, but it's not the case. That's only on slot machines. In lending, it's everything is in twos. 2 current pay stubs, 2 years taxes, 2 years W-2s. Next, we're going to look at your rental history to make sure you paid on time because we do track that. So if you wonder about that and go, hey, I pay my rent late every month, is that going to adversely affect me? Yes, don't pay your rent late. Next, we're going to pull your credit. This is a hard pull. A lot of you out there hear, oh my gosh, it's going to pull my credit and ruin it, and you hide behind a rock and you cringe. No, what happens is when we pull your credit, you can pull your credit up to 5 times. They tell you 7 in a 30-day period. I would not do that personally. 5 hard pulls in a 30-day period will not affect your credit. Now, if your credit's a 650 or lower and you pulled it 5 times, it's a possibility your score may drop like 5 points. But overall, we have to pull your credit, it has to be looked at. And the next question I get from a lot of people is they go, well, I'll just send you my credit from Credit Karma or freecreditreport.com, or my credit card sends me a free report. Those things are free for a reason. We can't use them. It doesn't have all the data on them, and the scores on those free reports are higher than your real credit score when we pull it from TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. So put that all together. What are we looking at as a lender? Step number 3, we're going to look at 30 days of pay stubs, 2 years of W-2s, 2 years of taxes, 2 months of bank statements. Do all loans require this? No. But if you want to explore all your options and get the best thing for you, that's the correct way to do it.
And an analogy that I use all the time is you look at it this way, right? That the lender, the originator is like your attorney, the underwriter is like the judge, and your attorney, your originator, is trying to build a case of why you should be able to buy a property. So the more information that they have at their fingertips, right, it allows them the flexibility to make a case that you can qualify for X amount of property. Now that the lender has reviewed everything and shared your goals with the agent, you want to focus, is it the monthly payment, is the location of the property, is it the appreciation of the home, is it the future rental value of the home? What about the loan are you looking at? Are you looking at the down payment, interest rates, lower costs to close on the property, lowest long-term costs? Now, you can buy your points, sell points. That can factor into higher closing costs, lower closing costs, interest rates. That can mean if you're buying points, you're basically getting a lower interest rate. Things like that. So there's a lot of flexibility as long as your lender is aware of what you're trying to accomplish. And again, your realtor too is aware of what you're looking to accomplish. They can better serve you. Now, if you're not really telling them what you're looking to do, you just go, I want this, I want this, I want this. It doesn't give them the ability to fully understand your goals. And without understanding your goals, it's harder for them to get you to that point.
You don't want to keep things a secret, because if you think we're not going to catch it, we're going to catch it. It's the same way like when a realtor is selling a listing, the job of the buyer's agent is to find out actually what's wrong with the property. What did we potentially miss? Where are the hidden gems, or where are the hidden pitfalls? And as the lender, we're also looking for, are you lying? Did you pay your rent late 6 times out of 12 in 12 months? We're looking for details, so please pay attention to that. Do your pre-qualification correctly. We put this photo in here because we want to keep you awake, and nobody wants to have to pull a rabbit out of a hat, especially a rabbit that size, because it's actually big and your hat would have to be gigantic. But you hear lending horror stories because of the loan went bad, we lost the house. The lender always wants more items. This takes forever. I need more money. Loan doesn't meet guidelines. You need a cosigner. You got to pay for credit card. Your loan cost just went up. Your interest rate is actually this, not this. All these things, if you do the pre-qualification correctly and you're working with a quality lender, you will avoid this massive having to pull a rabbit out of a hat.
It's like David said a couple times right there, if you think you're going to slide it past before the deal closes, probably going to be mistaken.
And just because you mentioned that, Vinny, I'm going to mention something. I recently had a client 7 days prior to closing go out and buy a Lamborghini. Did not think we would know. She had her credit pulled. Boom, of course it shows up. Lamborghini. We're not all buying Lamborghinis. Most of us are buying Toyotas. So we will see it.
All right. You want to talk it through the different loans?
I'll talk about this. So there's lots of loans out there. Which one is best for you? Well, if you're going over your goals correctly, how long you're going to own the house, your monthly payment, your down payment, multiple different types of loans you can get. So if you look at this one, we just mentioned a couple of them. FHA is 580 FICOs and up. Now, during the pandemic, that moved to 640. Now we're back to 600. I'm going to tell you in probably another 3-4 months, you'll be at 580 again. Then you can do loan amounts, down payments is less as 3%. And then you have conventional loans. Those require a 620 FICO with 3 to 5% down payments. VA loans require no down payment. Jumbo loans, 10% down. The loan stuff gets a little tricky because typically our loan numbers go up to 753 and down, then to 548 and then down again. Anything above the 753 is different. Here on this slide, it says 765, 500. That's for a different area code outside of San Diego that we are currently working on. So we will update that, and I apologize for that being on there. Ooh, wow. How you really want to go into that one, Vinny? That is.
Yeah, I mean, this is something, and I'll jump back to it. I mean, this is something we were doing some of our pre-buyer seminars, and something to look at is the idea that there's growth potential over the last 5 years, meaning 6 years. You'll see the growth potential over the last couple months. Yet, don't buy a property that you're going to be buying a property today and thinking that you're going to sell it in a couple months from now and make a bunch of profit on it. Look again for that monthly payment. Focus on monthly payment. Don't get swayed by, oh, what's happened in the last 5 years. If it happened again in the next 5 years, imagine how much you make. That's, I think, a tough way of living. So what is the average closing cost for a new home? Closing costs on average are at 2.25. I mean, 1%, 2%, somewhere around there. Closing costs vary month to month. So you got to think that the bank and Uncle Sam are going to get their money. So if you close later in the month, right, you might have less of you have more of a window to your next payment, your first payment on the property. But if you close maybe at the beginning of the month, your payment might be maybe only a month out. Right. So think about that. You're going to either have more money for your closing cost or pay your first payment earlier. Okay. Closing costs can be negotiated by a realtor. Lender can credit you as well towards closing costs. Now, again, this is an older one. In this current climate, it's very difficult to get closing costs rolled into your offer. So now, what is very important to think about when buying? How long do you plan to own the property? Okay,
super important.
Yeah. Okay. 5 years, 7 years. Where are you buying the property is important. For resale, future value, just buying a home still allow you to have a life, sleep comfortably. Can you still save money towards your retirement? Now, something to think about. Now, if you're buying the property today, right, the market goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down, right? Now, you can build that sweat equity in your property. You can bootstrap it, as David loves to say. Right?
I do like bootstrapping.
You're adding that sweat equity into your property. So let's say you're looking to sell in the future, right? Hopefully, the market hasn't changed drastically yet. You'll have some excess value. Now, let's say the market does correct in the next, 6 months, a year from now, maybe a year and a half. If you're looking to sell it in 2 years, it might just be that you have to keep that property and hold it on until the next market cycle. So unless you think the U.S. economy is going to totally drop, even if it goes down again, it'll go back up.
It is like, for those of you out there who are your data-driven people, if you Google trends of values in San Diego or in California, you will notice that our values usually go through a trend of up and down every 10 years. We're already 2 years past the 10-year mark, because if you remember back to the meltdown of 2008, 2009, we've now been on a consistent growth period since then, and we haven't slowed down. And so if you're watching our market updates and listening, there will be a correction. It's a matter of when it's coming. And unfortunately, Vinny, the way it looks right now, I'd say you're probably a year off. I mean, unless we just, spend ourselves into oblivion the next 6 months, which hopefully, the government is responsible with its, spending, and we don't get some massive problems from that.
Yeah. And now, choosing. Oh, you want to take this?
Yeah, I want to do this one. This is so important. So choosing the best realtor, not a realtor in the top 20%. So if you're wondering about why I'm saying don't choose a realtor in the top 20%, tell me why, Vinny. Just educate me, please.
So 80% of all realtors in the last 12 months haven't sold a piece of business, one property. So that means that to get in the top 20%, you've just sold one property in the last 12 months.
So what does that mean? It means if your realtor is not in the top 5% of doing business in San Diego County, you should not be working with them. Vinnie's in the top 1%, just so you know. So why do I say this? Because experience matters. You want to make sure you choose your realtor wisely. How do you do that? Look at their online reviews. If you Google your realtor and they don't exist, they're not doing business. If you check their license number and it's a very high number, they're new to the business. Do you want to gamble your first home with someone that may not have the knowledge or skill set to do it? That's up to you. Do they do real estate full time? Do they even own a home? How many homes do they really sell? Some realtors are great on social media, but they don't sell houses. But man, is their social media good? Experience really matters here. This is one of the largest investments of your life. You really need to choose wisely. Don't just go by, you got a recommendation because your former cousins, uncles, brothers, nephews just got their license and now they want to sell your house and make a commission because they need money to pay for their Mercedes payment. Don't do that. Pick the right person.
Okay, now that you have the loan set and you have a great realtor, think about these things carefully: the house size, the location, the school, the appreciation price. Now, someone that's focusing on a variety of different communities in San Diego and knows the different communities in San Diego will at least understand which best community fit the needs that you're looking to accomplish, right? So have these ideas in place so when you talk to your realtor, they can better assist you with the community that you're focusing on.
Yeah, those things so important. So what's next? You got to write an offer. You got to eventually write the offer. So what happens with that? Your agent's going to go over with you purchase price. Your agent's going to go over with you terms of the offer, time limits, fees being split for each party, what's being conveyed, what's not. What is real property, Vinnie? Is my refrigerator real property in that house I thought I was buying, but it wasn't included in the contract, and now I'm pissed?
Yeah, so the easiest way to look at is the structure of the property is real property, while personal property is like the refrigerator, stove, things like that. But once it gets affixed to the wall, it technically becomes real property. Yet, if anything that could be perceived as personal property, you want to make sure it's in the RPA, right? So then you make sure that it actually conveys.
So next, what is your EMD? Your EMD is your earnest money deposit. So what's going to happen is your agent's going to go over with you is how much do you want to write your EMD in the contract for? Now, could be 0.5%, could be 1%. In this current market, I mean, Vinnie, we laughed at my 5% here, but right now in the current market, would you see people go, I'll put a 5% EMD down just to increase their odds of getting the house?
Yeah, I mean, they make it look stronger. I'll be willing to put more of a deposit down. Now, you got to remember too that most people think, okay, the purchase price is going to be the most appealing thing for all the sellers to look at. Yeah, that's not always the case. I mean, sometimes it's about the terms of the offer. Sometimes it's about the fees being split, items being conveyed, how big the EMD is. Even people are paying basically above appraisal, waiving appraisal, or paying above appraisal. So there's a lot of different things of how you want to structure your offer if you're looking to submit. And this is something that you want to sit down with your realtor and figure out what's the best case for you to have that ability to possibly win.
We also, I'll roll that with this slide. So what happens next with your offer? Well, if your seller likes it, boom, maybe it gets accepted, you're under contract and everything's perfect. A lot of times right now though, you're going to get countered. A counter means that the seller looks at your offer and counters you back with, hey, you offered 750, but come back to me with your highest and best because there's 3 other people competing with you. Does that mean you got to change your terms of the loan or change the terms of your offer and things? Yes, if you're countered, you may. Could you stick to your guns? You could too. If you don't get countered, maybe it just gets accepted. I mean, the current market right now is so interesting, Vinnie. Do you see a lot of people submit one offer and come back accepted?
No, I mean, I think it's more of a rarity. For example, we just got under contract on a property today on one of our listings, and we had 36 offers that we countered back.
See, 36 offers. That is, I'm going to use a term here from Urban Dictionary. That is cray cray.
Yeah.
That means crazy.
So yeah, be aware of what you're working with. Communication is definitely key. Have you communicate with your realtor, communicate with your lender, have your realtor communicate with the other side, have your lender communicate with the other side. Communication is so key when there's so many moving parts.
The lender should be calling the listing agent and selling your deal with your offer. And then also, we didn't mention this before, Vinny, but when you hire a quality realtor, they will have quality reputation, which means they can reach out to the other agent, and that quality reputation and being well known and liked in the marketplace actually helps your offer. That is super key. There is a very connected group of people doing business in San Diego as realtors, and they all know each other. So you want someone that's connected, good reputation.
Okay, so your contract accepted. Congratulations. Now what's next? Escrow's open. Instructions are issued to wire your earnest money deposit, and make sure you're wiring to the right company. Lenders going to request fees from escrow and title so they can disclose the loan. The realtor is going to help in scheduling the home inspection and all the other inspections deemed needed to protect you in the investment. And the lender is going to order the appraisal to help you with the price and to make sure that it meets the livability standards. Okay. And then escrow is going to send a package to fill out and then off to the races.
What do we got? Next up, what to expect while loan's going on. So while loan's going on, your home inspection is going to be done, repairs noted, formulated by your agent, request for repairs being done, request for repairs being negotiated, maybe price negotiations, further tests, mold, termite, water damage, plumbing. For those of you out there who don't know, there's a thing in San Diego called termites, and most houses have them. So if you ever want to Google termite infestation zones, you will see that California, especially Southern California, is in a huge one.
Yeah, you can be termite clear today and then have termites again 6 months from now. I've had a lot of sellers that go, hey, we don't need to worry about termites. We had our property tented 2 years ago. It's like, you still have termites. They just jump from one house to the next.
They went to the neighbor's house.
Yeah.
That's your new home. Okay, what to expect on the loan side? Well, here's the process made simple. When we first request the fees from title and escrow, we get them and then we legally disclose them to you. That is done digitally. You are given 2 days to sign them digitally. If you don't sign the docs digitally, then you're going to mail everything in and hand sign it. So please be careful about that. Once your disclosures are signed, your loan goes to what's called processing. Processing means we're just going to review all the data you sent in to make sure we have up-to-date pay stubs, up-to-date bank statements, up-to-date taxes. Everything is most up-to-date to fit the loan guidelines that you're doing. From processing, your loan now goes to underwriting, number 4. When it goes to underwriting, that's like what Vinnie mentioned about the judge and the lawyer and the loan officer's trying to be like a lawyer and present your case to the judge. Lawyer? And the judge is, we're going to use lawyer now because we're trying to prosecute the loan and put it through and get it committed. So the underwriter is going to look at all your stuff and go, oh, it meets all the guidelines. Wow, this is wonderful. It's perfect. I can't wait to give this person a loan. Once the loan's approved by an underwriter, there's almost always a few conditions that we need. We request them from you. You send them back in. And then you get to final the lucky 7. Just like lucky 3 7s, number 7, closing disclosure. This was done during the great housing meltdown of 08 to 09 because of lenders baiting and switching everybody and changing fees. So the closing disclosure now comes back to you and goes, here's your loan amount, here's your interest rate, here's all the fees, and we guarantee this is what they will be. They cannot change. Once you sign it, that is it. There's a 3-day waiting period. The 3rd day you sign the loan docs, the money's wired in as well, and then we fund the loan. And guess what?
Congratulations. Touchdown.
You're on the home. I was going to say home run, but I don't think I get the same thing, Vinny, because I know you like baseball and Padres. So we could go grand slam when we close the loan. I don't know.
Well, I mean, right now the Padres aren't getting too many grand slams, but
But you
yes,
never know.
we could have. Now, is any of this process different in challenging market? Something we've already talked about. We talked about basically asking for credits in your offer, and that's something that's very hard to get across in this current climate. Um, being very proactive with your offers. I mean, that's huge right there. Focusing on the terms of your offer, talking to the listing side, figuring those things out. I mean, in this current climate, I mean, it's properties are going fairly fast. So understand the property you're looking.
Fairly fast.
What did you say?
I said fairly fast.
They're going fast.
They're going very fast. They're not going Toyota fast. They're going Ferrari fast.
Hey, on a side note, when you said how low are interest rates, and you said lower than a lowrider. I saw
Yeah.
a comment on that last week.
Yeah. Interest rates right now are lower than a lowrider at a lowrider convention.
What about not what to do? I don't spend any money that you don't need to. Don't buy a car. Try not to spend any money on anything miscellaneous.
That is, Emmanuel, thanks for bringing that up because I did not touch on it. That's my bad. I should have said this when we were going over the loan and the pre-qualification. While you're buying a house, you should not open credit cards, close credit cards. Don't buy a car. Don't go shopping. Don't apply for other loans. Don't get fired from your job. If you want to make sure everything stays stable and consistent with your credit while you're buying a home, the lender should have gone over with you. Don't buy a car. Don't open credit cards. Don't close credit cards. Don't change anything on your credit. You want to leave everything stable. I hope that helps you out, and I apologize for not answering that or addressing that concern earlier.
And I mean, that's just the overview of the whole buying process. Now, again, like we talked about multiple times in there, and there's a few key takeaways. Each person's going to be different. Each lender is going to be different. Each situation is going to be different. So the best way to progress is making sure you have the right people in your corner, have the right people giving you that feedback. I mean, so feel free to reach out to myself or David. We can at least walk you through what's possible and maybe in some cases what's not possible. So feel free to reach out if you have any kind of questions.
And you know, I just realized a great analogy, Vinnie. So in the current market, it's almost like it's just a fight to get properties and everything is fast and furious. It's everyone needs a good person in their corner. The same way when guys walk into the UFC and it's fast and furious and they're going at it, they got guys in their corner who are coaching them and helping them and giving them advice to make sure they can win. That's what a good quality realtor and lender does for you. We're stepping into battle here in the current market. You need good people in your corner so that you don't get beaten up with your offers and you lose all the time.
I thought you were going to say something about the Fast and the Furious franchise and how unrealistic it's gotten over the years. And you know what? This will all come back to some kind of normality sooner than later. So hopefully, just like the San Diego real estate market will one day come back to some kind of level of normality.
I hope so.
Too will
it
happen.
Has to. It has to.
With the Fast and the Furious franchise.
Full disclosure, I never watched any of those movies, just so you know.
No problem. All right. Talk to you guys later. Have a great one. Please subscribe. Please share and tell your friends.
Wait. We got one more thing.
What?
Today, 4 o'clock, 10-minute market update. If you want to learn about the local market and you want to learn about interest rates and what's going on, it's only 10 minutes. It's going live at Facebook at 4 o'clock, 4 to 4:10. Please tune into us. Watch it. We're also on YouTube too, I believe, Vinnie. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, follow us.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.